Asking for blunt honesty here because I can't deal with this drama right now, so just tell me if I've been an idiot, and if so I'll go and apologize. I'm currently planning my mother's funeral on behalf of my siblings. They live overseas and are not here yet. My mother and father were divorced but were on good terms. In particular, my mother was close friends with my father's new wife. This woman, my father's current wife, has an ongoing dispute with my wife. They have a long history of bad blood between each other. Both of them have said extremely hurtful things to one another. Obviously, I think my wife is less of an idiot between the two, but both are definitely wrong for saying the things they have. Anyway, even though I really dislike this woman, I have to invite her to my mother's funeral service because 1. She's my father's wife, and 2. She was close friends with my mom. My wife was livid at finding out about this and insists I put my foot down and not let her attend the service. So for 2 long days, she constantly nags me about this, bringing it up every hour. I keep telling her the same thing about why she needs to come. I try to compromise by saying, if my wife is so uncomfortable she doesn't need to attend, and I won't hold it against her. She refuses this as she wants to be there to support me. So a few hours ago she brings the topic up yet again, and I lose my temper. I tell her, paraphrasing, just shut up already. You don't get a say in this. You don't get to dictate my mother's funeral, for Christ's sake. Just leave me alone already. I did not say it calmly. I yelled it and was definitely angry because I'm busy organizing my mother's funeral. She has gone off crying and I'm left wondering if I went too far. I can't deal with this nonsense, and I'm just going to accept whatever judgment is given and go with that. Not the idiot. I do think what you said and the fact that you yelled it is harsh. I'd normally say everyone's the idiot here, but you are likely grieving and you are under a lot of pressure, all this on you, plus personality issues. I would have expected your wife to put on her big girl pants just because it's a funeral, because that's what normal people do. If you feel up to it, I do think you should probably apologize and try and explain it calmly, because she is your wife, but fingers crossed she tries to meet you halfway and stop making this about her. Not the idiot. Your wife is being very childish and selfish. If this were her birthday party, then sure, she has every right to say your stepmom isn't invited. But this day isn't about her. Your stepmom is a friend of your mother. This day is to celebrate your mother's life and how it's now ended. If she was close to your mother, she has every right to be there. Your wife should simply grow up and be civil for the sake of the day and just keep her distance. You're absolutely not wrong. You can maybe apologize for losing your temper. So sorry for your loss. Not the idiot. The fact that your wife can't seem to get past the fact that this woman was your mother's friend and deserves to attend the funeral is ridiculous. Adults are generally able to look past differences in these sorts of situations. You maybe could have stated this to her in a better way than you did, but I can only imagine that you are going through a lot and that likely fueled the fire a bit. Perhaps apologize for blowing up at her, but you definitely aren't the idiot for your stance. My wife, when I met her, was a great fun person. However, a few years ago, she started to suffer chronic migraines. I should say that you care about it. I sympathize with her greatly. I wish, more than anything, that she didn't suffer from them and she could live a normal life. But she doesn't. Instead, she texts me to come home from work so I could take care of our toddler, or she sleeps in so she can get the rest she needs. We spend a fortune on doctor co-pays as she tries a different specialist or medication. It's at the point where I am unable to go out alone in fear that I'll be leaving our child home with an unqualified caretaker because of her condition. Part of me resents her for the additional work her condition has put on me. The part of me feels awful for even thinking that. Obviously her physical pain is more than what I'm going through. I have friends and family who can all leave for a weekend and leave kids home alone with a wife or husband. But it's not something I can do. If I were to go away, I'd need a babysitter because my wife wouldn't be able to be alone with a child for that long. Her chronic pain has become more than a part of her. It's become who we are. Her life revolves around it, and as a result, mine does as well. Everything I do, from the food we cook, to our plans, our vacations, or even just if I could wake up early to go to the gym or stay late at work, has to stop and think, will the wife be okay without me if I do it? What I really want to know is, am I the idiot for not really caring anymore? She will say I'm in too much pain or I just need to go lie down because and it all just goes in one ear and out the other. All I can think is of course that's what you're going to do, so this is my life. 9 times out of 10, I like to think I'm compassionate and I show her the responses she is looking for. But then there's that 1 out of 10 times where it turns into a fight. Where I end up blaming her for things that I know are not her fault. I was going to therapy for almost 2 years to try to figure this out, but I stopped. I thought it was doing more harm than good when I would go there and complain about her for an hour every week. I would come out and I'd just resent her more than before I started the session. As weird as it sounds, I didn't like going because my therapist sided with me too often. He would tell me go out for the night or make plans for the weekend and then tell me to turn off my phone and commit to the act of enjoying my time away. And I don't think I could ever, in a million years, be able to do that. No idiots here. Caregiver fatigue is a thing, this is a lot to deal with, it's understandable that you'd have trouble coping. I would suggest going back to therapy, just get a different therapist. You should be coming out of your sessions with developing coping skills, not resentment. Under normal circumstances, you would totally be an idiot for not being sensitive to your wife's illness, but in this circumstance, I can see what effect her prolonged illness has had on you. I don't think you actually resent your wife, I think you resent her illness, and you are struggling to cope. No idiots here. She isn't doing it because she has a choice, obviously, so clearly, this isn't a not the idiot situation as she is trying to resolve it. However, when you first dated etc. you did so without knowing this would happen. It sounds trying, draining, and emotionally horrible for both of you for different reasons. Honestly, I get it, it screws, it's hard to care, because you have so much other stuff to worry about and it doesn't seem like it will ever be fixed. I would say you only become an idiot once you entirely give up on her. No idiots here. I've had 2 friends who ended up breaking up with their finances who had chronic issues that they realized, as much as they loved them, they didn't want to spend the rest of their lives as caretakers. And there's no shame in that. You only have one life. Your situation is tougher cause you're married and have a kid, but I think you need to really think about your happiness and your kids. Cause pretty soon he'll be old enough to realize you're unhappy and that'll affect his relationship with both of you. My wife and I hired a photographer for our wedding for $2,000 and we were eagerly awaiting our photos. Fairly recently I was contacted by the photographer, apologizing profusely and telling me he's not going to be able to get us the photos due to a fire that ravaged his entire house. I snooped on his social media profiles to double check that this was true and not just an excuse, and it is. He posted pictures of the burnt down house. He also posted that he has homeowner's insurance that will cover it and has posted some pics of him staying at his sister's, so fortunately he isn't on the street or totally screwed. Still a pretty crappy situation, though. Here's the catch, though, he's only offering us a 90% refund, $1,800, instead of the full $2,000 one. He says the differential is due to the huge amount of time he put into editing, the 5 hours he spent shooting at the wedding, and the hour-and-a-half round trip he drove to shoot. So that's $200 we're out. I'm not trying to sound too selfish or entitled, but while I think it's all well and good he put all that work into it, all that doesn't really benefit us if we're not getting a single photo out of it, and I don't see why we owe him anything. It's sad and not his fault, I don't know, maybe he could have saved an extra hard drive somewhere not his house, but we're not getting our long-awaited and treasured pics, and I feel we deserve the full refund. I've demanded the full refund, and he's stood very firm that he's only giving the 90% one. I am prepared to take him to small claims or request a chargeback if he doesn't back down. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, this is what his insurance is for. I mean, we all appreciate he is going through a tough time. More than tough. But his home insurance would hopefully cover his life needs, whilst his business insurance should honestly be covering all these refunds and more that he needs to provide you and others. I mean, $200 isn't much in the scheme of things, and you feel sorry for the guy, but on principle, no, you're not the idiot for wanting the money back. I mean, if anything it could pay for a post-wedding shoot. A lot of people do pre-wedding shoots, so why not do a post? Or even a honeymoon shoot. No idiots here. I feel the pain on both sides here. It's hard to pay for something and not get it after so long. It's also hard to work on something like that for so long and lose it. The photographer just wants something for his work and you just want your money's worth. With intellectual property, it can be hard to preserve the value of your work time. With any type of media editing, losing files is disastrous. If they're not backed up, you also lose proof you worked on it or any hope of continuing the job. Not the idiot. You deserve the full refund as he did not deliver on the product and it was once in a lifetime important. The process in the middle is irrelevant, he could have spent 10 minutes or 10 hours editing and it wouldn't affect the price. To be honest, if it were any other reason I'd be asking for more back as you'll never have those photos now, but obviously it's not the photographer's fault this has happened, it is his fault he didn't back anything up online or elsewhere though. Take him to claims. My roommate's girlfriend stays the night 1 or 2 times per week. Usually, she comes in the evening, stays over, and then he leaves for work early in the AM, while she kind of stays and leaves when she pleases. Or she stays until he gets home and they spend some more time together. So he usually leaves for work at around 5 AM, while I get up at around 6 or 6:30 AM and make my breakfast and start my day. His girlfriend usually sleeps until like 10 or 11 AM, so I'm up doing stuff while she's still sleeping. Since she's been staying over, I've received numerous texts from him while he's at work about how I need to be quieter while making breakfast because she's still sleeping, how I need to remember to put the toilet seat down for her, and that I'm being too loud in the morning. I'll wake up, be too loud, she'll text him to complain, and he'll text me. It's ridiculous. I'm not banging pots and pans trying to ruin her sleep. I'm simply going about my day. If I'm listening to music or watching Netflix on my phone, I use headphones. It's a small apartment with paper-thin walls, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Wait 5 hours until she wakes up before I do anything. My thoughts on this issue are as follows. She doesn't live here and has never once actually talked to me about these things. She'll simply text her boyfriend and he'll send long texts about how he's told me many times. Honestly, I don't care how she feels. She can put the toilet seat down herself. I've received a few long messages about how I once again forgot to put the toilet seat down. I live here in Parent, and if she doesn't like it, she can go home, she drives to and from. She's free to leave whenever. But he seems to think that he's justified in his complaints about me, not tiptoeing around her while she's over. In my opinion, he needs to just tell her straight up that she has no right to complain about these things. Am I the idiot? She is just a guest and makes such demands in somebody else's apartment. Did your roommate even ask you if you're okay with her being over and sleeping over? Does he even inform you about her spending the night over? I don't get where you would be an idiot in this story. Because you make normal noises in your apartment. Like damn, if footsteps, breathing and coffee being made bothers her that much, she should either swallow it up or go over to her place. Not the idiot, talk to your roommate and the girlfriend in person. Not the idiot. Not her apartment. Doesn't parent. Doesn't contribute in a way that would earn her extra consideration, like picking up the apartment while BF is away or cooking, etc. She's sleeping in, not like she gets up at 8 for work or something, and you can afford to be a smidge quieter for an extra hour. If you're merely going about doing daily activities and not being excessive with the noise, then there's no room for her to complain, nor for your roommate to expect anything from you. Not the idiot, straight up she shouldn't be there when no one that lives there is home. Why doesn't the roommate go to her place if she needs to sleep so late? It's your place, so long as you're not doing anything that would get a neighborhood noise violation, you would be fine. Anything extra you do, like using earphones, is being considerate, maybe mention that to the roommate. Also, it's been mentioned before, but put the lid down too, not necessarily because of poop particles, but solely for the petty reason that everyone has to make an effort to use the toilet now. I'm going to try cut a long story short here. Basically, I'm getting married soon, yay me. My partner's family has been heavily involved due to tradition and wanting the wedding to be somewhat traditional, which I have no problem with. The wedding is going to be traditional, and their parents have helped with funding some of the weddings. Now we have no children and don't plan on having any time soon. However, their sister does, she has 3. We've asked all of our friends and my family to not bring children to the wedding at any part during the day as we don't want kids there. Now I work with kids and have no problem with kids, but I know that a lot of kids don't have very much special awareness for the scenarios they're in. Therefore me and my partner don't want children at the wedding. My family was fine with it, our friends are fine with it. Sister-in-law throws up a fuss. We've hired out quite a nice place for the event, and it comes with an on-site security for the event. At my partner's birthday party the other week, my sister-in-law was adamant that she was bringing her children to the day's proceedings. We argued for a bit, but in the end, I just told her that if she brings her kids to my wedding, I'd have her and her kids ejected by security. Well, my partner on my side, I'm getting a lot of fallback from her family, and it's just causing a whole lot of headaches for everyone. I'm unsure how I'm going to solve it. So, am I the idiot? Did I go too far? Not the idiot. Your wedding. Your expense. Your guest list. She sounds like one of those people who's never left her special snowflakes with a babysitter. Well, either the time has come, or she can stay home with them. You already tried to discuss it with her. She escalated it into an argument and expressly stated that she intends to totally disregard your wedding plans. Of course, you have to warn her that she won't be admitted. Because you did not make provisions for 3 extra guests who are also children. Not the idiot, you are just telling her very clearly up front and what your bottom line is. I like the suggestion someone else had of uninviting her. Just as simple, it's clear that you are only able to attend with your children, and since we are not having children there, we understand you will not be attending. I mean, what else can you do besides let her have her way? I don't know why a mother would want to have their children in an environment where they aren't welcome and wouldn't be comfortable, etc. It's total entitled behavior. Not the idiot. But as an intermediate step, I recommend you tell her she's off the guest list unless she agrees, in front of your phone on video or audio if not in person, that she is not going to bring her children. If she won't do so, then cut her entirely so there's less likelihood of her causing a scene at the event. Be prepared for one anyhow. Then if she shows up, show her the video before having her removed. Your wedding, your day, your sister-in-law and her kids can go pound sand.